Hello everyone, welcome to another insightful episode of Mumtaz Herbal Product Presents Voice of Excellence. This is Sadid Adnan Wahid, your host for today's show, and today we have the privilege of speaking with a distinguished diplomat who plays a crucial role in strengthening the ties between the European Union and Bangladesh. Our guest today is none other than His Excellency Mr. Michael Miller, the Ambassador and Head of Delegations of the European Union to Bangladesh. With years of experience in diplomacy and international relations, His Excellency has been instrumental in strengthening the cultural, social, and financial ties between the European Union and Bangladesh. Your Excellency, it's an honor to be in here, so I would like to thank you for giving us the time and welcome to the show.
I'm delighted to have the opportunity to explain what the European Union is doing here in Bangladesh. Thank you for having me.
And I'm pretty sure you're most welcome, and I'm pretty sure that our audience is eagerly waiting to hear from you. How did you start your career? Like back when you were a child, did you ever envision yourself as a diplomat?
I am precisely the age of your country. So
Wow.
I was born in 1971. And if you think about this period, 1971 to 2025, it's a period of momentous change for Bangladesh, of course, but also for the European continent. So when I was coming of age in the period 1989 to 1991, this was precisely the moment when the communist dictatorships of Central and Eastern Europe were collapsing, and there was an overwhelming sense that they would turn towards the European Union. They would seek inspiration for their reforms from Western Europe, where I was living. And for me, this was really a determining point in considering how I could make a difference, how I could contribute to this enormous political change and economic change that took place on the European continent.
Your Excellency, reflecting on your diplomatic career so far, what are some of the most memorable moments or challenges that you have encountered?
I'll give you two. The first is, I think, naturally, the appointment to be European Union Ambassador to Bangladesh. The second example is, in my career, I spent a long time dealing with the reforms in Central and Eastern Europe. Back in 2003-2004, I was working on the extension of our partnership and cooperation agreement with Russia to all of the countries that joined the European Union in 2004, and I was working also on issues of transit between mainland Russia and the exclave of Kaliningrad. And the fact that we were successful on both of those issues in finding an agreement, this is something that I look back on with pride, because it opened up the way for our enlargement and for the stabilizing role that we have had all across Central Europe as the European Union. So incredibly important in geostrategic terms.
We are glad that we have someone in here in Bangladesh who has taken huge responsibility beforehand.
In addition, when you talk about the first impressions of the country, I just would like to share the incredible impression of entrepreneurial spirit in the private sector. I can also say that it's been a revelation to me that I think I have never eaten so well since I have been here in Dhaka. It's been an excellent experience, and I would like to relate two moments that I consider to be inspirational. And the first is that we organised a photograph exhibition and a book launch at my home with my family and with civil society activists that we work with, and also with two students. The second inspirational moment I would like to mention is that we organised a meeting in which we brought the advisor with responsibility for climate change, Rizwana Hassan, together with a group of young Bangladeshi climate activists. And this was a moment, we created a platform for a very productive discussion. And I have to say, it was, again, really impressive to see how young Bangladeshis were so focused on creating a country, all the opportunities in terms of the economy that we could wish for. And here we are trying to also come to your country and see how can we contribute to a highly performing economically impressive Bangladesh. That's really what we're trying to do here. We're trying to ensure that the country meets the Sustainable Development Goals. We are absolutely focused on poverty reduction as the European Union. We're absolutely focused on the creation of economic opportunity for your young people. We think that there is a huge commonality of view when it comes to addressing climate change, and equally when it comes to getting the most out of migration, which should be regular and it should be dignified. So to be perfectly honest with you, it is my pleasure to be here, and I'm humbled to be faced with so many inspiring people that I meet on a daily basis.
Your Excellency, being a diplomat, you must have a very busy schedule. How do you take time for yourself?
So I'm here in Bangladesh with my wife and the youngest of my 3 children. So what I like doing with them, which introduces this balance into my life, is I play sport with my son. So
What do you play?
I play badminton. I also very much like organizing trips, day trips outside of Dhaka and also within Dhaka. So very early on, I went to Puran Dhaka for a tour. I had a very, very interesting tour of cultural heritage buildings. I have to also tell you that I am taking Bangla lessons every weekend. So this I do with my wife. I get enjoyment from this because even if I will never be a fluent Bangla speaker, unfortunately, it is so important to get an understanding, a grasp of the culture. So this is for me really very important. Even if I only reach a very conversational level, I will still be happy.
Well, I'm really, really impressed. Have you learned any Bangla phrases?
একটু বুঝি। আমার নাম Michael Miller, আমি European Unioner রাষ্ট্রদূত.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I won't go on. I need to. I need a lot of work to improve this.
The European Union has been a very big partner of Bangladesh in terms of development and trade. So, what are the current state of EU-Bangladesh relations?
The relationship is extremely strong in commercial development and humanitarian assistance terms. Just to give you some examples, we take 50% of Bangladesh's exports. So we are by far your largest commercial partner. In terms of development cooperation, we have a portfolio of grants that will be provided here in Bangladesh amounting to 1 billion euros. And we have provided more than 300 million euros in humanitarian assistance in the past 4 years. So this is because you are hosting this phenomenal number of refugees from your neighbor, Myanmar, and you're providing this very obvious service to the international community, and we are happy to be your partners. Where I see us moving in the coming months and years, so I see that there is huge potential to build a more political relationship with your country. We have the ambition in the Asian Pacific region to increase the security dynamic between the EU and our partners. Bangladesh is a very, very solid partner for us. We do have some initial security cooperation, and we would like to build on that. And maybe an important point to stress is that all of this ambition to create a more political and security-minded relationship, building on what is really a very strong foundation, we are now in the process of negotiating a comprehensive partnership and cooperation agreement with Bangladesh, and this will create the legal framework for us to work across a raft of issues with your authorities.
Recently, we have seen the launch of the EU Chamber of Commerce in Bangladesh. So, how can both our nations benefit from it?
So I'm actually very pleased that we've just launched the European Chamber of Commerce. This is a platform bringing together the European private sector companies so that they can work with us, and we can use the chamber, if you like, as a platform to ensure that we can remove friction from the investment relationship between the EU and Bangladesh, and also as a platform to boost foreign direct investment in this country, which is a country which is full of potential for private investments. And that is absolutely a priority for the European Union to boost the FDI in your country. Bangladesh is a ready-made garment powerhouse. That's absolutely clear. The relationship with us has been very, very strongly promoted because Bangladesh benefits from relationship with us, which is known as everything but arms. So it's duty-free and quota-free access to the European Union market, which is huge. So this is why we have been so successful, and also why you have been such a great success in exporting ready-made garments to the European Union. So LDC graduation is on the agenda of the authorities, and we are determined to ensure that the transition from everything but arms to the next commercial relationship, which will be called GSP+, we are determined that this will be a smooth transition, one that builds on your strengths, but one in which not only do we see the ready-made garment sector continue to prosper because you are global leaders in terms of quality and also value for money. Not all your eggs are in the basket of ready-made garments, but that perhaps your electronics industry, your pharmaceutical industry, your agro-processing industry can also benefit from access to the EU market, because we are in this relationship as your partner for the long term. We're extremely reliable, and our interest here is to make sure that you prosper, that the country is stable, and that we build a forward-looking partnership where we get the maximum of results from the opportunities that exist for our cooperation.
Your Excellency, we are very glad that the EU is taking new initiatives to improve trade and commerce, and also exploring new areas to expand the bilateral relations of these two nations.
I'm delighted to be here at this moment where all of these opportunities open up for us to work more closely with you, the interim government and the other stakeholders in this incredibly vibrant and diverse country. So to work with the private sector, to work with the trade unions, to work with civil society, to work with academia, to work with media, all of this, these are new areas for our cooperation where I have a sense that there is openness to discuss with us. There's an interest in learning from the European experience, whether that's learning from our mistakes or learning from our successes. And we are here to offer our support for your country at this very significant moment in your political life.
We are very, very, very much grateful to the European Union for this. Your Excellency, tourism is a sector that is growing day by day for both European Union and Bangladesh, and many Bangladeshis are looking forward to study in Europe and also go there for tourism. So how can we make this process easier, like visa processing and also getting admission to any European institutions?
I think there are two sides to the answer that I want to give. The first is for the potential of tourism when it comes to tourists coming to Bangladesh, where I see that we can do things much better with enormous potential for economic growth and enormous potential for better understanding of each other. So the people-to-people relationship is one that we need to invest in. Now, when it comes to movement in the other direction, what's important for us is that when there is migration taking place, and migration is a global phenomenon, it has always existed and it will always exist. So we need to make that migration regular, safe and dignified. It's very, very important.
Your Excellency, lastly, what are your expectations for the future of EU-Bangladesh relationship?
So I have so many expectations. I hope I can fulfill them. I think the first is really that I want to see the successful political transition. The second ambition I have for the relationship is that we build a long-lasting relationship which is one of partnership. So we are here to generate investment in your country, to contribute to the creation of economic opportunity for your young people, and to make sure that all of this is a factor that makes you look at us as a friend. The final ambition I think that we as the European Union have for Bangladesh is that we are able to work here on an agenda of regional connectivity. So we see huge potential for work with Bangladesh and with the neighbours on energy, on transport, on water management. We think that we have done a lot of work on these issues in Europe that can be a model for some of the work that needs to happen here. And I think we look at the recent agreement between Bangladesh and Nepal and India for the transmission of electricity from the hydropower stations in Nepal to Bangladesh, and we think this should be expanded, this should be scaled up, but they will contribute to building very, very solid, good neighbourly relations between Bangladesh and all of its neighbours, which we think is extremely important.
Your Excellency, I sincerely pray and hope that all your expectations are fulfilled, and I would expect our authorities to come forward and be as much cooperative as they can with the European Union. Thank you once again for having us in here, letting us do this interview, because we all know that you have a very, very busy schedule, and I'm pretty much sure that our audience will be very delighted to hear all this that you have said. So we look forward to have you with City FM once again somewhere in the future.
With pleasure, with pleasure. Maybe without the cats.
Yeah.
Maybe without the cats, but with...
Your Excellency, before I go, I have a small gift for you from our sponsor, which is Mumtaz Herbal product. Here is the gift hamper. It's an assortment of their beauty products.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir.
Thank you.